Hello guys, today we're going to look at Pythagoras theorem. The theorem is a squared plus b squared goes to make c squared. This helps to find the longest length in a right angle triangle. Now, in the right angle triangle, we name the longer side as the hypotenuse. Okay? And this formula helps us to find the hypotenuse. So pretty much the c squared is actually the hypotenuse squared. Okay, so the way I identify the hypotenuse is by having the right angle right here and the side opposite as the hypotenuse. So we have the right angle, side opposite, hypotenuse. It's that simple. So there are three rules that you guys need to know before you can attempt a question. The first one is that C must always be the hypotenuse. Now I told you why. It's because the hypotenuse is the longest side, and this formula helps us to find the longest side. So we have the triangle right here. It doesn't matter which side you label this, what you label this or this. Okay, it can be A or B. It doesn't really matter, as long as this side, so the hypotenuse side opposite the right angle, the hypotenuse this side is C, it's alright. You'll be fine. You'll get the answer correct. You're on the right tracks. Okay. So let's move on. The second rule is that this formula only works to find the length of a side in a right angle triangle. So what this means is that the triangles with this sign here, they are right angle triangles. Okay, meaning you can use this formula on them. Okay, so you can use this formula to find the hypotenuse. So if you have a triangle like this, there's no right angle on here, we can't use this formula. Okay, so we can't find the length of any of these sides using this formula. Now the third rule is that you must have the lengths of two sides before you can work out the length of the third side. So you can see here is that we have an A and we have a B. So what this means is that we have a length of one side squared plus length of the other side squared. Okay, so we have this here. So what this means is that we have this, so we have this side, we have this side, and that will give us this side. Okay, so basically what it means, you need to have lengths of two sides before you can work out the hypotenuse, which is the c squared. So now I think we're ready to attempt a question. Question 1. Find the length of BC. Now we can see that this is a right angle. Am I right? Yes? So this is a right angle triangle. We have two sides. Okay, we're given the lengths of two sides, so we can use this formula. So first thing we do is we write down the formula. Now what we have to do is go back to the first rule. Always label C as the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse in this case is this side right here. Okay, so we label that as C. Then it doesn't matter which side you label A or B after that, as long as you put the C as the hypotenuse, is fine. So I went for B and A there. So now it's a simple case of plugging in the numbers into the formula. So that's what we do. So we end up with 8 squared. So we have 8 squared plus 15 squared goes to make c squared. 8 squared equals 64. 15 squared equals 225. Add them together, you get 289. Now this is where some students get mixed up. We are being asked to find c, not c squared. Okay, so what you have to do here is remove the squared. Okay, now you can remove the squared by doing the opposite. So the opposite of squared is square root. So what you do is you square root 289, which leaves with 17 centimeters, which shows that this length here is 17 centimeters. Don't forget the units, okay? Now some people get mixed up with squared and centimeters. Okay, squared, if this is squared here, okay, it means you're working out the area, not the length, so be careful, so don't put the squared there. The next question. Now, like I said, this formula helps to find the longer sides of the hypotenuse. But what if we want to find the smaller sides? Now the smaller sides here are b and a. So you may want to get a squared by itself. So what you have to do is rearrange the formula. So you have your positive b squared, and your aim is to leave a squared by itself. So what you do is take the b squared to the other side, making it a negative b squared. So you get the formula a squared equals c squared minus b squared. But what if you want to make b squared the subject? Then what you have to do is, we all know there's a plus here, okay? We take this plus a squared on to the other side, okay? So we get b squared equals c squared minus a squared. So what pretty much, okay, we have the longer side and we have the smaller side. We just take them away, okay, to get another smaller side. That's how simple it is. So let's attempt a question. Now we have a question right here, okay. So we have lengths of two sides. We have lengths, okay, and this is a right angle triangle. Now, so we know we can use this formula. Now, like our last question, the first thing we do is label. So the hypotenuse is this side, so we have C. Okay, and doesn't matter which side you label, A or B after that. Now, if we look closely, we're being asked to find A. Okay, this time not C but A. So what we have to do is make the formula so it's a squared equals da da da. So that's what we do. We take this b squared onto the other side, making it a minus b squared. Okay, so there you go. Now we pretty much just plug in the numbers to that. Now we're left with a squared equals 64. Now be careful again, because we're being asked to look for a, not a squared. Okay, so you do the inverse, which is the square root, and you get a equals square root of 64, so you get a equals as 8 centimeters. It's really that simple. It's not that difficult, guys. So I suggest you practice. I'm going to leave some exam style questions for you down below. So cheers. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.